in the city of angels. Dwight with Mike to the torch from his cradle. Jets from Father, spiritual and bright, guiding the vibes, bring wisdom to the night. Telling a story where hearts connect, from LA to Florida with love and respect. Telling a story with soul to soul, Dwight and Jess, yeah, making a
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Tell Them the Story. Yes.
Yes.
How are you today, Jess? How's it going?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm so excited about today's episode because we have such a special soul here. Yes.
Don't flatter me.
First guest on the show.
You are.
So
Oh my
excited.
God, you're so special.
Yes. I've never
Yes.
had a guest on a podcast I've ever hosted. So this is like a really, really special moment. So we have Christina Marie here with us today, a love and relationship coach. Super excited. Definitely, I need some help in that department because I can't keep a damn man. So we're excited to have you here. We'll let you introduce yourself and tell our audience, you know, who you are, what you do, and what makes you so groovy.
Well, I am Christina, also known to many as I've become the relationship boss. And I specialize in helping, women, men, anybody heal the relationship that they have with themselves and others, because I think we all know that the relationship that we have with ourselves translates into every area of relationships: family, romantic, our careers, friendships. And so I think that it all starts within ourselves. So I kind of help in all areas relationship wise, and I love it. It's amazing. It's a long road that took me to get here, but I wouldn't change a thing. So
I love that. So in the spirit of our show, we always kick things off with lighting some sage. And finally, I have sage after we've done this how many times? So I'm going to burn me some sage.
And this is the sage.
Oh my God!
I feel like that was a stage party.
This is the sage that I have going on. Thank you. Thank you for taking it over, Dwight. No,
You're
it's
welcome.
It's really exciting to have you here, and I just love you, and I think that you are so beyond talented at what you do, because I do feel that beyond just relationships, you really go into the self, and I think that that is so important when we are pursuing and wanting to be in a vibration where we're attracting the most aligned, highest love.
Yeah, absolutely. Background, when I was in my abusive relationship, I think that I wouldn't have stayed as long as I did if I had a better relationship with myself, let alone even knew the tools to create a healthy relationship. I always tell people, like, why didn't we learn this stuff in school? Like, why was I learning geometry when I'm never going to use that in my day to day? Like, we should have been learning communication and boundaries and feelings and stuff in high school.
No, very, very true. Calculus, trigonometry, I've never sat down and had to do trig at the
No.
But loving myself is something that I wish I had learned earlier on in life. And it's something that continues to happen. I tell people oftentimes, we treat ourselves the worst. And then oftentimes too, I ask people how can you be upset if someone's treating you that way when you treat yourself worse than that? Listen to how you speak to yourself. And I tell people that are dealing with self-love stuff to maybe take a picture of you when you were a baby or a kid and tape it on your bathroom mirror, just as a friendly reminder to speak to yourself in a kinder way, because in most cases we are, softer with children. So it's hopeful. So thank you for pointing that out. And I think it's just so true. And thank you for being transparent and even sharing your journey to get to where self-love is today for you.
Yeah.
Quick question to just kind of go off topic, but I don't know too much about it. But is anybody familiar with this whole movie that's having all this buzz right now with Blake Lively of It Ends?
Yes.
What is
my gosh.
Can we talk about that just for a second before we get into the real segment of the the show of it's about domestic violence, correct?
Yeah, it is. I read the book. It was a decent book. Did you guys read the book?
I haven't.
I have not read the book. However, I do cover it. I've covered the drama around the promotion piece, because I do hot topic celebrity gossip on TikTok. But
he was hyping for that one. The tea was
a lot.
Blake Lively really kind of showed her true true colors with this whole press tour going on.
Yeah.
Made me uncomfortable, to be honest.
Very
It,
uncomfortable. It's like she's
very
not really
dismissive.
highlighting, yeah, like it's about domestic violence or
Mhm.
abuse. And, like her counterpart, which I still call him Raphael from
Oh my God.
American.
Yes.
By the
Yes.
way,
I love that
I,
show.
I was on the plane with him once. He is gorgeous in person.
He
And
looks
he
like he
smells
would.
like candy. But I walked behind him in line and sniffed. And I was
I
like,
just casually just sniffed
smells
him.
amazing. But yeah, even him, with his social media, he's put up
Mhm.
things around awareness and where people can get help, and he's been very vocal, and she's been promoting flowers. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
speaking
It's
of
out.
flowers, my outfit is floral
Yeah.
today. In case if you're wondering at home what the hell this man has on, it looks better in person. It is not translating the way I thought it would. On
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Own it.
I know. You know what's really what I loved that he shared is that we quite often he was saying ask, the women, why did they stay? Like the women, he's like, where we should be asking the question of why did the man even think it's okay to abuse? And I feel like I'm like, that was so eye-opening for
Mm,
me as being somebody who has actually been in an abusive relationship and also has had an abusive relationship with my bio father. Like I've never asked those questions, really deeply, at least in my romantic relationship that I had that was abusive. My father, yes, but I really do feel like that was so eye-opening because we're not discussing that. How do you feel about that, Christina?
Well, I think that it just goes back to show that it's always blaming the woman. If anything negative happens to a woman, they're like, well, why'd you dress that way? Well, why'd you act that way? Well, why are
right.
you putting that energy out into the world like that? It's almost like you're asking for it. So I think that it kind of applies to this as well.
It's victim shaming.
Exactly. It's victim shaming. I think that there's a million different reasons why people lean into abuse on the men's side of things, but no one talks about that. And I applaud Jason Baldoni for actually bringing that to the surface and mentioning that it's not just a woman's fault for staying, because I mean, I don't know if you guys know, I could go onto the whole spiel about trauma bonds and go down that whole road. And when you experience abuse, but then they make you feel really, really good and you release serotonin in your brain, then they abuse you again. And then they do it, all the beautiful things that they say. So then you stay, you know what I mean? So it's a completely a cycle that you're stuck in.
One thing I want to just mention about that is that for me personally, and I found that when I asked other people as well, is the first time that it happened to me, my ex actually said, that will never happen again. I'm so sorry. And I realized that that was the first of just it getting worse. And I feel like I don't know if that's typically the pattern. I don't, this is obviously your area of expertise, Christina, but it's just, it feels like when I've talked to other women in particular about this, that seems to be the pattern.
It is. Well, because I mean, when they say it'll never happen again, what do we want to do? We want to believe that person. We want to trust that person that we're in that relationship with. Plus, they're probably saying it to make themselves feel better. They're not saying it to make you feel better. They just feel guilty that they had that moment. So them saying, I'll never do it again, is them validating it within themselves. I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. But what are they actually doing to prevent it from ever happening again?
Yeah.
So true. So true. Other than just saying
the
that.
work. And then oftentimes too, because I've never been in an abusive relationship myself per se. However, I did witness my parents, and my father was abusive to my mom, and my mom left my father the time that I saw it happening. My older siblings were aware, but I was the youngest. I was maybe 8, and I saw it. And then I think that was the thing that got my mom to I need to leave. So things that happen to us as children really is the foundation of who we become. And so for myself, seeing my mom leave, whereas no, I've never been in an abusive relationship in that sense, but I've had exes destroy our home or throw things at me, and I'm not staying here because now that hitting is going to be transferred into me. And I think because I saw my mom leave, that's why. And I think it's so important that we set examples to children when growing up and really planting in them their self-worth and things like that. And it's so unfortunate. Like even now I have an employee that's dealing with domestic violence and abuse where she can't even go to work right now because her partner knows where she works and she's in a shelter. And
Wow.
it's been so traumatic. And
Mm.
she accidentally called me. She thought she was calling one of the managers on my team, and she was end up calling the CEO and was like bawling. And I'm like, what's going on? Are you okay? And it was meant for her to talk to me because I was able to actually share my experience growing up and what happened. And I told her, not to get in your business, but don't go back. Like,
No.
we were
Mm.
put on this earth for one purpose only, and that's to protect our human. Our
Mm.
spirit is here to protect our human.
Yeah.
And, many of us are fortunate enough to have incredible moms and dads that were there for us, but technically, it's always our responsibility to protect our human. I said, right now, you need to protect your human, and this man is not protecting it. So
Yeah.
it's your responsibility now. Like, please stay gone. I know he's going to say, I've changed. I know it's going to get better. Like, but that's not the case. It's only going to be better for now and until you go home. And then it might be a month, it may be 2 months, it might be a year. And then that same person is going to appear again unless he goes and gets the help that he needs to get to be a changed person. And
Mm.
oftentimes that change happens because you left them. And it doesn't mean he changes for you. Maybe you're helping the next person afterwards, but he can't change while the two of you are still together. He needs to go do
Mhm.
his work, and there's self love work you need to do. And I mean, so many people, we get stuck in this, oh, but I love this person. And you know
Mm.
what? I get it, but you have to love you more because
Mm.
if you don't love you more, that's a problem. Like,
Yeah.
you can't love someone if you can't love someone else, if you can't love yourself, very RuPaul.
I mean, that's amazing of your mom to have left. I mean, like, and for you to specifically remember that too, like, that's huge. I think that that's so admirable of her to do because a lot of women don't leave. And then we think that we can love them enough or change them enough. And with like all of our love, if I just give, if I just change myself, then maybe they'll change. Or if I just love them harder, or if I just do this, then like maybe they'll change. But you're right. Sometimes, like, why would they change if you're just going to stay and continue the cycle? Then you're just telling them it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
you are
reinforcing it.
basically, yeah, you're
Well,
commending bad behavior.
Yeah.
it's really interesting to make this a little bit just in a different direction of lighterness, but it still like totally applies. Is that my grandmother was married 6 times, and like God bless
Good
her
for
because
her.
listen, her last husband was like 20 something and she was in her 70s. Just saying. Okay. So I don't know if they were like technically married because this is when she said that she was going on vacation to the Dominican
Oh wait, I
Republic.
remember this story and when she's in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Didn't
And
one
like
have to go there?
my sister had to go and like rescue her. It
Yes,
was like
your
a
sister.
whole vibe because
What?
like, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
whole that needs to be like on a podcast for a different day. But it
Oh
was
my God, I
um,
remember Juliet sharing this
yes.
story. We were having like wine
Yes.
and cheese at her
Yes.
place. Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes. She literally like at the airport like loaned her like passport or like hawked her passport to like a loan shark. It was like a whole vibe. Yeah, she was beyond like her own energy. Her name was Phoenix. I mean, really say no more. But she was married 6 times, and I asked her. I said to her, "Well, why were you married so many times?" She said to me, "Because I got bored."
Oh my
I
God.
and then I asked her, I said, so what's your one advice when it comes to men? And this was in particular men. And I don't know if it's men or just I think it's just people. But she said to me, men don't change. And so, but what her lesson was is that you have to truly find somebody that who they are at their core. You don't want to change anything about them. She said, because they will say that they're going to change. They may even do it for a year or two. But ultimately, if you can just find somebody at the core who they are, you don't want to change them, then that's the relationship to go towards. And I
Oh my
found that
God,
to be
that's
such.
amazing. That's amazing advice because seriously, like ultimately people aren't going to change unless they want to change for themselves,
Mhm.
and they're not going to change for you. Even if they change for
No.
you, it's because they ultimately wanted to change for themselves. But like loving someone at the core is beautiful because we all have flaws. No one's perfect, but it's finding the perfect partner for you. So I
Yeah.
think that if you can tolerate their good and their bad and you're okay with it, that's amazing sense. That clicked for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I tell my clients. I'm like, if you feel like you have to change someone into someone that you want them to be, they're likely not your person. We can always like grow and evolve and like develop as human beings. Like, we're not going to all like show up to a relationship with perfect communication or no bad habits. But if you're trying to actually change the core of someone's personality or their quirks or what makes them authentically themselves, then they're likely just probably not your person for you.
Well, Jess and I both are Capricorn, so we're pretty much perfect. And on that note, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back.
Obviously, as the Aquarius over here, I will validate that.
Listen, I'm on the cusp of Aquarius, and I have a lot of Aquarius placements. So I actually like low key love Aquarius. So, and I kind of feel like I am one in a different way as well. Yeah,
I love it.
I'm a little dark and twisty, a little cynical, but also very positive and always. You know?
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Ready to elevate your love life? Discover Christina Marie, the relationship boss. Christina offers expert love coaching, powerful relationship workbooks, and unique reset card decks designed to help you build stronger, more fulfilling connections. Whether you're dating, committed, perhaps even discovering a deeper relationship to loving yourself or clarity, Christina's tools and guidance will set you on the path to lasting love. Visit therelationshipboss.com and unlock your potential for a truly rewarding relationship today.
All right, and we are back. Oh my God, Christina, love you so much. Super excited about today's segment, which is Telling the Story, or well, that's the name of our show, Relationship Flags. But if you are listening in or watching us, like the show is called Telling the Story, and then whatever the subject is, it's supposed to make a sentence. So tell them a story about relationship flags. See, it makes sense now.
It does.
Yes.
Perfect.
But before we go there, we
gosh,
know what we have to do. We have to play our game.
This is my least favorite part. Thank God we have Christina here.
And it's so funny because it's not fair because Jessica gets help this week. So like she's gonna lean on you.
I need help.
She's gonna like sit back and wait on you to guess it.
No, we're gonna do it together. I'm not good at any trivia.
So Christina, the way it works is I'm gonna list out clues from a popular story, and then you get a chance to guess along with your partner in crime, Jess, what the story is. All right?
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
All right. Clue number 1. A young woman lands a job at a prestigious magazine in New York City.
The Devil Wears Prada.
I have to get through all the clues first.
Oh. sorry.
Clue number 2.
I love this. I was
like, oh, do they get easier or harder?
Her boss is very demanding and is the fashion editor with a cold demeanor. All right, the next clue. The job feels more like working in an underworld hell than in fashion. This story has themes of personal growth, career ambitions, and sacrifices for success.
I can't.
Following clue. Both a best-selling book and a hit movie featuring a highly acclaimed actress.
Dwight Allen O'Neill.
This movie has a famous line of, "That's all." The protagonist undergoes a style transformation, but it comes at a personal cost. And the last but not least clue is, when reading the book or watching the film, you think that her friends are the good guys, but in actuality, they're not very supportive. Name that story.
Christina got it.
I'm opting out. I ruined the game.
You did it. You didn't ruin the game because you did
so competitive over here. I'm like, no, I have to hit the buzzer.
I loved that. That was awesome. We did. In Christina's defense, we did not give proper instructions to wait for the clues. So now we know. But you know what's so funny is I forgot that that's all. That is like where she just says,
"Oh, that's all."
That's all. I literally can watch that movie over and over and over again.
Do you watch it with a snack or do you just watch it? Just watch it.
I just watch it. Sometimes I just have it in the background.
I always have it with a cube of cheese.
Oh, in honor. Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's a really good movie.
It's so
Yeah.
good. I
That's
love
where
that.
like the TikTok like viral thing came from of when we get back, I have to call the press and diminish the
Yes.
noise or whatever she says about
Yeah.
that when she's getting a divorce.
She
Talking
was so
about
funny.
relationships, that's like one who struggled. She struggled to have a successful partnership. I mean, just saying, if we really
Yeah.
look at that, we don't even talk about that part of that movie because there's so many other amazing things to it. But really, that's like a moment, to
Oh
have this
yeah.
woman who seems
They
to have it all together. And I have to ask you, Christina, what do you think about that? Like in the sense of like that, is it just like you feel like, sacrificing? Just curious about that before we go into the flags.
I think it kind of depends. Like if you have a demanding job like that, you like have to ask yourself, have I had this conversation with my partner if they're okay with the lifestyle that it's going to entail of me being like literally available 24/7 and not be able to pour into this relationship to the extent that maybe you need me to be able to pour into this relationship. Some people will allow that to just like let it their relationship dissipate and not talk about the issues or not talk about what needs to change. And they'll just kind of like well, this is how it is. Well, this is how it's going to be. So we might as well divorce or leave each other. But you could tell that she was like in her career. That's what she wanted to do. That's where her passion lies.
yeah.
But she was also kind of like grieving that she was missing life with her kids and with her husband. And he just couldn't handle the kind of lifestyle that I think that she was living,
And wasn't it like her third husband or something? She had several
Yeah.
husbands, yeah, as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that
also
actually,
too, though, I mean, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure he knew who she was when he married her as
Well,
well. And
that's
that's
what I
my
have a
thing too.
question on.
Oftentimes people
Yeah.
want to get with these high profile people, and
Yep.
then when they get with them, they complain about these other elements that come with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're gonna drive a Bentley, just know the expenses that come along with it are gonna be expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, get yourself a Toyota.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that would actually be a question I have about a flag, is because I feel that I have been in partnerships typically
Yeah.
that I am like, hey, I'm ambitious, and they're always attracted to that. And then it ends up always being the issue. And so at first, the flags look green. They
Right.
look like they are a go because it looks like this person is attracted to my ambition. They're attracted to the hustle.
Mhm.
Sometimes they even feel inspired to become a part of it. I include them. And then it ends up being the thing that doesn't work out. So it's so interesting
Right.
because I feel like, where do you catch that in a flag situation?
Well, how they're reacting to you following your ambitions. We can say the thing, right? So, like a green flag is someone's words aligning with their actions, and then a red flag
Ooh.
is someone's words not aligning with their actions. Like, we can say all the right things. Like, I love an ambitious woman. I love someone who's career driven. But then, like, when you start to have to go and do things for work, or you like sit and we do a podcast and they're like not part of it and they're sitting in the living room, watching a movie, having to be independent.
That's a
And
red
then you
flag.
get off your podcast and they're mad at you, or they're giving you the silent treatment, or they're like, how come you don't give enough attention to me? Like they said the thing, but their actions are not aligning with their words,
Oh, that's
Mm.
so true. Yeah. So
That's
that's a
actually a big one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that could go for anything too, of even like just pouring so much love into you and then like their actions not aligning to that,
so
Well,
how soon do you call it a red flag though? Like, because I feel
That's a
like,
good question.
in the beginning, let's say like I'm a very busy person,
Yeah.
and getting here today was a lot, And what if there's a situation where you canceled a date and they were upset because they made reservations and they were really excited about hanging out,
yeah.
is that technically a red flag at that point, or maybe they're just a little disappointed that the plans had to change because you were busy or you got caught up at work?
Well, I think it's dependent on their reaction, right? So if they're a little disappointed and they're like, listen, it happens, it's okay. Next time, like just communicate it to me maybe earlier. Or, next time we make plans, like I would love it if we could just like keep those plans. You know what I mean? But if they were to get mad and make you feel bad and put you down and be like, you never have time for me, you don't do this, you don't do that, and like really make it like a whole thing, then I say that could be a red flag, or they start getting controlling with what you've got
Mm.
going on. And trying to tell you what to do and when to do, and break up with you right away and not be flexible with trying to understand your lifestyle and that things might come up and might change. So I think that it's dependent a lot on how people choose to react and or respond instead of react to when you do have stuff come up that gets you busy or that has you changing your schedule. Someone being disappointed is totally normal. Like, we're going to get disappointed. We're going to get sad, of course, if someone changes plans on us or feels too busy for us. But if they start getting mean to you or like getting like really kind of like controlling with your time and with your space and trying to tell you, well, all of your time needs to be with me and not allow you to have your independence, then I think that that becomes more of a red flag than anything. I don't know if it's timing. I don't know. Like, I don't really like to put timings on things, because if they're acting that way within like the first day or like the first couple of days, sure, fine. Like, you don't really owe anybody anything in the beginning stages of dating besides communication. I think that's all we ever ask for, is to not get ghosted, for someone to be open and to be honest with us. But 3-6 months down the line, you want to be prioritizing what you're trying to grow to the best of your ability, right?
Oh, you bring up a really good point, because ghosting. My mom is like, a more mature woman out there. She's really, I think, ageless. And she is experiencing ghosting for her first time and not seeing the signs, because it seems like these people are very like interested and engaged. So where would be some signs? Because I think that a lot of people like are very surprised with ghosting. I feel like it seems like typically, at least from her experience and people that I've shared, and I'm sure, I don't know, for you with your clients, I'd love to hear that they don't see the signs for somebody to like ghost them. I'm just curious, like, if there's any signs to look for there.
Well, how can you? Ghosting is literally what it sounds like. Someone literally just drops off of answering you. So I think that it's really hard to pay attention to the signs. And the only sign that I can even potentially even throw out there, because it is such an abrupt decision to stop answering someone, is if you notice that like communication is dwindling down. Like, if maybe you guys were used to talking like all day, every day, there was good morning texts, there was like communication throughout the day, and then there was a good night. And then like over the next couple of days, you get like 1 or 2 texts throughout the day. Their texting patterns, like, and their habits start to like diminish a little bit. That could be a sign that they're probably going to eventually just drop off. But like, ghosting is exactly what it sounds like. They're just going to stop talking to you, which I would be a hypocrite if I said I never ghosted someone in the past. But like, getting ghosted, which I have, it hurts. It sucks.
It does. It does.
Why does it
That's
suck
why you
so
should
bad?
Casper people and not ghost them.
I know.
You gotta
What?
Casper them. Casper the friendly ghost. It's where it's like you're still kind of there, but you're like gradually removing yourself. Yeah, you're just
quiet quitting. You're like quiet quitting.
It's Casper.
You're quiet.
Everyone loves Casper. He was a friendly ghost.
Yeah.
I can't right now.
I mean, like, anytime that I ever ghosted, like, when my clients will ask me about it, like, I always try to think to, like, why I did something in the past, or, like, why people do those things. And I really think that it comes down to people not being able to deal with conflict or confrontation, because all it takes
you don't want
is
to hurt
just,
people.
Exactly. Like, all it takes is sending a message. Yeah, like, just send a message being like, listen, I'm not into it.
But also, I've sent messages to people until I'm not interested, and they still didn't get the clue. Like, they still like were reaching out, and I'm like, I have told you that I'm not interested. I even told this one man, I lied and said I had a boyfriend, and he was like, so? I'm like, what does that have to do with me? What? Are you serious? So like, that's why some people also ghost, is because people don't get the hint. My thing is this, like, ghosting sucks, but ultimately, if I'm being ghosted, I know I'm being ghosted, and it's my responsibility to take care of my human and to move on.
Right. Rejection is protection.
Yes, rejection is protection. And they always come back anyways. They always start back.
And it's redirection, because
ghost them.
Yeah, but it's also like, Communication is so needed in a relationship. Okay. So it's kind of like if someone's ghosting you, or like, you know, that there's something, or I'm ghosting someone, the communication's not there. Clearly, I don't feel safe to tell you what's really on my mind or what's really going on. And the other person, you know, they're not taking the hint. They're not listening. Communication is like communicating and also listening to what other people have to say. So if you're going to be ghosting someone or you're getting ghosted, that's just a sign that like the communication's not going to work out for the two of you anyway. So you're not going to be able to create a relationship based off of that communication dynamic you have going on.
That's such a great way to look at it. So yeah, if they're ghosting you, they helped you out. Throw them a
Exactly.
funeral. Throw them a funeral.
Yeah.
Call it a day.
And the reason why it hurts so bad is because it's just kind of like a blow to our ego. Like, it's like, oh, that kind of hurts. That kind of
The
sucks.
next
Because
person that I ghost, I'm gonna like send them their name and put like the date we met and then the date we stopped talking and put rest in peace. And that'll be my final message to them. Rest in peace.
I can't. When we come back from the break, when we come back for the break, I'd love to know like what are the typical like what we're seeing now, like the flags that like to like look out for. Because I feel like I'm so curious about like the clients that you work for, like some of the commonalities of what you're seeing with flags. I'm so curious about that. Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
you.
and good flags we should look out for. Like, what are some positive things? Because I think that I don't even know what to look for at this point. Like, oh, that's a good thing.
We need some good stuff.
Yeah, we went in strong with like lively and it ends with us, and then how you like love the man that plays the roles. There we go. All right, let's go to our next commercial and then we'll come back to hopefully some positive things to look for. Yeah,
Let's do it.
Okay.
Ready to turn your passion into income? Whether you're a singer, dancer, comedian, or just love connecting with people, the One Appeal Agency on Bigo Live is the place for you. We provide expert support, personalized coaching, and a community that's got your back. Don't wait. Visit hostonbigo.com. That's www.hostonbigo.com and apply today. The One Appeal Agency, where your passion meets opportunity. And we are back with Christina Marie, the
relationship boss.
Yes, relationship boss. She's a boss. I love it. All right, so before we went on commercial break, Jess was asking for things we should look out for. I think she was asking for my sake, and then because
I know for also to like listen, because it's so funny. I've talked about this with Christina. So like my clients, whenever they come to see me for love, I'm like, all right, let's see what spirit has to say. But honestly, I feel like I'm like, there's also this other beautiful soul named Christina that I think that you should connect with. But like, yeah, like I'm just curious, like what are some of the common flags that you're seeing like nowadays with the clients that you work with? And then I think that Dwight wanted to know some positive flags to look for as well. But just like, yeah, what are like some common themes that you see, you know, with your clients? I think I'm just curious.
Well, I think like the biggest one, if we'll start out negatively, and then I'm going to get to some of the good stuff. But like, because the most thing, everyone has anxiety right now. Like we all have anxiety. We all have an anxious attachment. We all have some form of an anxiety thing.
Thank you for helping me feel seen.
Yeah. I can be the most zen person in the world, but anxiety runs my life. But I think that when you feel super anxious when you're not with them is pretty much a red flag to me. And that's what I noticed is because like,
oh, wow.
You're always worried about the next time you're going to hear from this person because the communication's not consistent, because they're not good at texting you, because they're not making plans with you. And you're kind of just living on the edge of like, you don't know when you're going to see them again. I think that the unpredictability is a red flag. You know what I mean?
Write this down.
I know, this is so
I thought it was
great.
a good trait. Like if you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see him again. Oh my God. Like I think of a dog like wagging their tail, like you're just waiting. I thought that was a good thing. Okay.
Well, like it is a good thing if you're not worried about it. Like you shouldn't be worried about like not knowing the next time that you guys have them, or not knowing the next time you're going to hear from them. You can have that like golden retriever energy of being excited to see them, well, of course. And that's a green flag if they're like, hey, I made plans. Like I will see you on Friday, and you're not like anxious or worried and wondering, are they into me? Are they not into me? And causing that level of like anxiety and constant worry. You know, it can go red flag or green flag if they're communicating with you, if they're making plans with you, and if they're,
So this
there.
is a red flag. I dated a guy once. I lived in New York, like before they had like Wi-Fi like underground,
Yeah.
and I literally would get off the train and like call him and leave a voicemail like, "Hey, I was just on the train, so I'm not sure if you tried to call me or not, but I just wanted to let you
Dwight,
know that
no! Dwight,
that
no!
I'm like off the
No!
train."
No!
And then like I
God.
did that like for a lot, and then one time he answered and was like, "Yo, like I didn't call you. I would have left a voicemail. Like I haven't called." I was like, "Oh, okay. I was just wondering." I was like, "Oh,
Just
like
covering my
my battery."
bases.
Or even if my battery died, I would when I charged the phone back up, I'd be like, "Hey, like my phone was dead for like 10 minutes. I'm not sure if you tried to call me or not, but just wanted to
Oh
reach
my
out."
God, Dwight, no.
So
Dwight,
that
So
was a
why
red
no.
were you
flag.
doing that? Why was your brain having you do that? Like,
Because I didn't see him a lot. I didn't. Like it was
mhm.
booty call time whenever I would see him. I was
There you
like late at
go.
night.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
an
and I wanted
unpredictable.
more, but he said he wanted more too, but it just seemed like, you know, oh my
It
God,
seems
that was
like
a red
his
flag.
words weren't aligning with his actions or something.
Yeah, but finally I got yeah, yeah. But finally I was like, no, you're chasing this man and you look crazy. Stop it.
Yeah, I love you, but I don't even know that version of you. I'm glad that that didn't work out.
This was before we met.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I was
Fair enough.
like, oh my God, I was in my early 20s. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
it was
gosh.
the unpredictability more so. You were afraid that you weren't going to see them again because they weren't creating like this, like, stability for you to feel like, no, this is good. We're on the right track. We have plans. We talk every day. Some people will be so scared that they're not going to hear from another person for like days, and then like a week will go by and then they're like,
So true.
hey, what's up? How you been? You know what I mean? Like that's not what it takes to really build something. And I feel like the people who go that far without like texting or trying to build a relationship are in it just for like the booty call vibes or aren't really serious about actually building a long lasting relationship.
What's another red flag? That's a good one.
Oh,
I think that you have the basics. If someone ignores your boundaries, right? Like if you set a boundary and someone's kind of just like still pushing it, like how you set that boundary with that person, you're like, I don't want to talk. Like I have a partner, I have a boyfriend. They're like, so what? So what? Because they think that they can kind of like get away with that kind of stuff.
Right.
So you say something like, listen, like this is not for me, or I don't really vibe this way, but still someone pushes your boundaries because they know, well, they're committed to me. They're in this relationship with me. So I can push, right? And you fold every single time because you also may not be sticking to your boundaries at the same time and staying with someone out of fear of loneliness. So you're not even respecting your own boundaries because you're so afraid that someone's going to like leave or abandon you. So there's like a complete lack of boundaries staying in place here.
Ooh, okay.
that's a good one. All right, what are some good ones to look for? Now
Good ones. Well, one of my favorite is I feel like if you can just be yourself. And I feel like when we
That's
feel
so
like
simple. That's so simple.
but it's so hard. Like
Exactly.
it's
That's
so
very hard to do. You
is.
can't be yourself in the beginning.
Well, maybe not the beginning. Like, I mean, like I can't tell you
I'm
how
the best version of
I
myself.
don't go to the bathroom to
Right. I was gonna say you can't go to the
There's
bathroom in
no
the
such thing
beginning.
as going number 2 in the beginning. Like you don't do
Yes,
that.
like it's certain things you cannot do in the
And
beginning.
it's so funny. I was watching this movie Fever Pitch, never seen it before until like recently. I do love a good rom-com. I won't say that this one was the best one, but anyways, but it's so funny because he basically says like, "Oh, I'm a really big sports fan." And she's like, and he says that has been an issue in his past relationships, and her response is, "Oh, yes, well, I'm not that type of woman." And then the whole rest of the movie is her having an issue with him being so into sports, which it is an issue. Okay. But it's so funny because I'm like, I've been that person in the beginning of the
Or you
relationship.
pretend
And
like you like
a
things that
hundred
they like
percent.
in order to make them like you.
And I talked to a very famous YouTube and podcaster about this when I was like going over and doing a Reiki session for them. And we talked about how this is something that typically happens, that we are like on the best behavior, we're okay with certain things, and then all of a sudden it changes. And I am 100% guilty. I couldn't even argue back. I'm like, yes, I don't know if it's a man woman thing. I don't know what it is. I think it's just both of like maybe the energy.
I used
But
to do
yeah,
that. I don't do that anymore. I'm just very
good
honest. I'm
for
like, yeah,
you.
I don't do that. I don't enjoy it. I have a
Well,
question though. Is this a red flag or a green flag if they call you? Like,
What?
I find that so weird. Like,
you
I'm
find
a
it
tech.
What?
I'm a
Okay.
texter. And
Dwight,
like
no.
if they call me or
Oh
FaceTime
gosh.
me, I'm like, why are you calling me? This is weird. No. Like
I'm
Think
gonna
about it this way. Just because you're a texter doesn't mean they're a texter. And like them calling you is just their way of wanting to communicate to you,
well,
you
okay,
know?
calling is fine, but FaceTiming, like you can't just FaceTime someone randomly. Like
Well,
at
I don't
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning,
I can't with Dwight.
I'm like looking
Christina,
a
get him. Just get him.
mess.
I feel like we're teetering red flag versus getting the ick over like everything. Like I feel like the ick is become like this whole thing. Like, because think about this, that's where maybe a boundary comes in. Hey, listen, I'm down to FaceTime, but can you at least like text me before you FaceTime me? Or like some people like the connection of FaceTime, but like if like I need a warning too. Like even with my bestest of friends, like if you FaceTime me, I'm not answering. Like if I have no warning or a schedule that we are made to FaceTime, fine. But if he likes to FaceTime and you're kind of a little bit more hesitant of the surprise or the element of FaceTime, right? Then I would just kind of be like, listen, like, can you just give me a text before you FaceTime? Or can we like FaceTime at this time? Because I'm busy right now. How about we FaceTime later? You know what I mean? Like
Right,
that just comes
right.
back to communicating with them instead of just kind of being like, that's a red flag. That's a red flag.
And
That's a no.
Apple makes it no better because when you get FaceTime with
An
Apple,
apple?
it's a
You're
reflection
blaming
of
Apple.
you.
You're
Like it's a
blaming Apple.
reflection of you when the phone rings and you're like, oh my God, stop
I
it. Get
know.
away. I don't want to look. Like, why are you FaceTiming me? Stop
I
it. This is
know.
weird.
That happens when I pull up my TikTok and it's like there to like record. For some reason, I'm like, oh God, no.
It's like,
But
Yeah.
I think
ugh.
that like just communicate because like FaceTime does help people feel more like they're getting to know you on a different level without having to kind of, especially in the early stages, people like to kind of FaceTime before they meet in person to make sure they're like getting what people say they're getting. You know what I mean? No catfish
Oh
stuff.
my God,
I
catfish.
have a
That's a
I
red
have a
flag.
gr-
A
I have a
catfish.
great I have a great question. A red flag when it comes to like online or a green flag when it comes to online dating. What's
Yeah.
a good just green flag to look for with online dating?
I mean, I think that asking to FaceTime first is I've been catfished 100%. Like, and when the person was like FaceTiming me, it was like a black screen. Like, there was like full on like trying to hide who they were. I think that someone who has taken the time to read your dating profile and brings up things that you put in your profile too and asks you about them instead of just like ignoring all of the stuff you wrote down and just looking at your photo and wanting to reach out to you. Like, I get it. We all need the physical appearance. Like I'm not mute to that or deaf to that. But I do think that like when someone actually takes the time to be like, oh, I saw that they like read this book or I saw that they're into, I don't know, snowboarding. Then they ask them about what they actually saw on their profile, you know, and they show interest in what's going on. That's more deeper than just like the photos we see.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Really
Yeah.
good
Yeah. What's another high note to end on? Or like what do you think of like a good green flag?
I think that something is that you just feel like you can still maintain your independence without leaning into codependency. And I think that we
Wow.
get so scared in the beginning stages of relationships and even like the later stages that we like have to be with this person all of the time and only them or the relationship's never going to work. But I think that it goes back to letting someone embrace you for who you really are, that you're still able to maintain your friendships. You're still able to maintain your relationships with your family and with your career and do your thing without having to kind of just like stop everything around you. And then you lose yourself in that relationship. Because I've done that before and it's really scary and it's really hard to find who you are again after you completely hold yourself to somebody else's whole being, you know? So like maintaining your independence and having a partner who supports that, like, yeah, go hang out with your friends. I trust you. Just let me know when you're going to be home. There's healthy communication there. There's trust there for you to still maintain your autonomy and your individuality.
That is so important because I have friends, well, when I was younger more, that like when they get into a relationship, they just disappear. They're like
Oh
gone.
yeah.
And it's
I have
like,
that now even.
yeah, and then it doesn't work
Mhm.
out. They want to be your friend again. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. Like where were you these past few years? So yeah, I think that's great that you definitely should have, your friendships. And I think it's a red flag if your partner does not want you to spend time with your friends or you to have a life outside of them.
I agree. I agree.
I
That's not
100%
just a
agree.
red flag. That's a Lifetime movie.
It is. It ends with us beginning.
And with us beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know.
These Lifetime movie, my mom was obsessed. So was my not my bio dad, but my dad, for all intents and purposes, they were obsessed with Lifetime. And the Lifetime titles, my sister and I, like, we would crack up. Like, we looked this up one time, and she was like in her chemo treatment, and it was like one of them that was like one of the best was "I Do But I Don't." I was like, I was like, yes, and it was actually with, oh God, her name, the one actress from American Pie that plays the hot, good looking foreigner woman. But yeah, they're like some of these
Jennifer
Lifetime
Coolidge?
movies. No, it was
I remember her. I don't know.
Oh, the
Yes.
foreign exchange student. I know what you're
Yes.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, I do, but I don't. Like, some of them were just amazing. Like,
I
if you
watched
look
one
them
this
up,
weekend.
you just look them up.
I watched one this weekend called "I'm Better Off Dead,"
Okay.
and she faked her death to get.
That's a red flag. That is a red
Yes,
flag.
she said, "I'm better off dead," and she faked her death
Stop.
to get away from her husband. And then she pretended like she was haunting him so that he could admit to hiring someone, because he hired someone to try to kill her and she found out about it. So she went ahead and like did the whole killing and then set him up and planted it so him to like confess to doing it. And like literally like he packed up her stuff to like move her out and went to work. And while he was at work, she hung everything back up in the closet and like decorated it.
Oh my God. It's
And
like
then
Gone
she, like-
Girl. I mean, I'm all
Yes,
into the true crime.
yes.
Like, I watch all of it. Like,
And then
and then
she
you
like
all, like, movies
delivered his favorite flower, her favorite flower, and like invited him to a restaurant under her name. Like she was haunting this man because the guy that he hired ran off with the money because he was like, "Hey, he paid me," but she like totally haunted her husband until he got caught at the end. But it was called
I
"I'm Better
can't.
Off Dead."
that's that's gonna be your response the next time somebody FaceTimes you. But Christina, how can beautiful people around connect with you and just like some of your offerings, and just we want to know that of how we can stay connected.
I mean, Instagram is the best way to DM me at The Relationship Boss. My website too, www.therelationshipboss.com. But anywhere on Instagram is honestly the easiest. Shoot me a DM, or there's like the link in my bio to explore all the different things that I've got. I have everything to help you from like free to 3 months of coaching to $25 relationship advice. So whatever you need, I have a way to help. So I think everyone's
that.
Wow.
And you've
Well,
built
I
such
need
a
to
beautiful
cash app
following.
I have to cash that for $25 because
Yeah,
she gave me a bunch
listen.
of FaceTime.
Listen. I have to just say you built such an amazing following, just in general, but also like I think it's so great on TikTok, because I will say this: when I get on TikTok and do readings, they're always like asking about relationships, and I'm like, this is not like, what did I sign up for? So yeah.
I know TikTok's fun. It's a whole different beast. Like TikTok and Instagram are just like so different, but I love being on both. So different vibes.
They're not even cousins. Like they're not even
No.
related. Like
No.
like, I feel like Instagram and Facebook, they're like sisters. Facebook's the older sister.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
TikTok is like that crazy girl around the corner.
Who you can't please, who one day she's really happy, and then the next day they're like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
I can't. Thank you for being our first guest. This is so exciting. And I'm so excited. Everybody follow The Relationship Boss and definitely book a session. My mom was so excited. She had a wonderful session with you, and came down to, yeah. I should too. We all should. It's basically we've come to the conclusion that we all need a session. Yeah.
I mean, let's do it. We could. I'll give you guys a family discount.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm better. At least I'm not like calling guys when I get off the train now saying.
I don't even know who that person is. When you said that, I was like, no way. It's not the Dwight that I know.
That was me.
But yeah.
But you should have saw him. He was gorgeous.
But
He was
sometimes
like
it's the most
he was
gorgeous
like a
ones
Greek
that are the
god,
worst.
okay? If they're gorgeous, it's a red flag.
Exactly. Like if they're too gorgeous, like we need a gray area here.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, loves. And we will be back for another episode, and have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your experience and day, wherever you are. Okay.
We'll talk next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Greetings, inspired community. It's Jess with Just Be Inspired. If you're looking to bring balance and positivity into your life, I'm here to support you. Through my Reiki sessions and handpicked selected of healing crystals, I will help to guide and align your mind, body, chakras, and spirit. Whether you're new to energy work or have been on this journey of healing for a while, I have the tools to help you feel centered and empowered. Visit JessBeInspired.com or follow me at JessBeInspired, and let's heal together. I can't wait to help you stay inspired.